Okay, you guys, it's Ani. Happy Friday. Today is going to be such a good video. We're going to be talking about some new things, some questions that are always asked. I'll be sharing a little bit with about me and my SP and about one of my successful clients. But um, if you guys have not checked out my courses, link will be in the description box down below. A lot of success stories coming in with those, so you may see them on the community posts and in the short videos I talk about them. But if you're interested in doing this on your own with some homework and a routine, that's how I create my courses. Links going to be in the description box down below. Yes, I'm going to be talking about different topics, but I want to bring up something that comes up so much, and I hear this so much, and like clients mention it. I hear this even when I'm out, like, and family and friends, like when the women will be having conversation, and like I can hear like sometimes the pressure that comes up. And what I'm talking about is, you may feel, and a lot of people ask me this all the time, or state this rather, that they're feeling so much pressure when it comes to either making certain amount of money, when it comes to being in a relationship, having kids, being married at a certain age or by a certain age, right? And I want to talk about that because honestly, this is so common, this like worry that comes up in people. And for each person, it's different. For some people, they're stressed out. Um, like I know, for example, like in my culture, like by like 25, 26, if you don't have like a boyfriend, or if you're not like engaged or something, it's like those conversations start happening. Oh, it's time, what are you thinking about? Why aren't you, you know doing something about it? And there's like this pressure about marriage and having kids, and obviously in other cultures and backgrounds it's all different. But I want you to understand something. Like, if you're someone that worries about this, and this is not everything, like this video is not just about this topic, so stay tuned. We're going to be talking about money and relationships too. But if this is something that bothers you and it's been stressing you out and you've been thinking about it, parents have been talking about it, family members have been bringing it up to you, I want you to know something. The age you're at now, whatever age that may be, you first want to check in with yourself. Like, what circumstances are you creating right now? Are you thinking about the dating pool is so small now? Dating used to be easier. Um, People nowadays, we're in like the social media time where people just keep swiping, like, or it's so easy to get cheated on, or like there's just so many circumstances people bring up. Like, if these things are bothering you, or you find yourself thinking these things or expressing these things, like if someone were to ask you like why you're not with someone, or why you're not with your specific person, and you answer these things like, oh, it's because when you get to a certain age you become so picky, or it was just so much easier way back when there was no social media. If you are doing this, that is so active and dominant within you that sometimes people don't even realize they're saying it. But what's more important is not just the saying part, but that's a belief. That is an assumption. And those assumptions are stopping and hindering you from actually experiencing a relationship or a person you desire, whether it's a new relationship or um, a current specific person. Sometimes that may be a reason why they're not coming in, because you see yourself as a failure in relationships, or your time is running up, or there's no more time left. Like, when you're seeing it from a place of lack, this will project out in your 3D reality, which you don't want that. You don't want that, right? And not only will it project out, but you start already justifying, like, and giving reasons why things aren't working out for you. And we want to change that, because lack equals more lack, right? You want your internal world to be in such a place where your external world matches, and it's just a nice one. It's a good feeling one. It's a comfortable one. It's a peaceful one. It's one where you don't have to worry about such things that, that are hindering. So what I first want you to do is, if you are someone that is thinking that way or has justified to people in that way, number one, I want you to understand one thing. For example, taking it from my personal experience, I've known my specific person for a very long time. A very long time. The version of me that got my SP later rather than the moment I desired them is exactly the version of me that I wanted to receive. Because when you're immature, or when you're different and your self-concept is different, like, for example, when I first met SP, self-concept was nowhere near where I needed it to be. Like, it was in such a place of lack. I would react to everything. I would get triggered at everything. And I probably wouldn't even be able to maintain the relationship if it came in when my self-concept was at the place it was, right? And, like, even now, think about it. A year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, where was your self-concept versus where it is now? Especially when you understand this knowledge going forward, and you're more, like, you're knowing thyself much more. You're getting to understand yourself more. You're getting to understand your thought patterns. You're getting clearer on those things. You're getting clear on what it is that you want. The version of you now, I'm sure, is at such a healthier place to receive what it is that you want than when you first started wanting this manifestation, right? When you first were desiring it. So it's almost like you're maturing. But here's the thing, that person also projects back onto you where you stand internally. So if you're standing in a place of lack, if you're standing in a place of, I don't know if I could sustain this, I'm always getting triggered in my 3D regarding them, the relationship won't be as solid as it could be, because the self-concept matters. Your self-concept is reflected back onto their self-concept. Okay? For example, I was talking about, I think, and this was in one of my shorts, about when you level up. It was about leveling up in self-concept, and someone commented and said, Ani, I was working on your self-concept course, and as I've been working on the self-concept course, I've been noticing my specific person is also working on themselves. And it's like we're projecting it back onto each other, but it's so healthy. Like, our communication has become so much better. The way we approach each other, the way we receive from each other is just so much more mature. And that's also happened with me and my SP as well. Like, as I was leveling up in my self-concept, I wasn't allowing certain things to trigger me as much. I wasn't really, like, in a reactive state. I was in more of a calm, neutral state as I was leveling up, as I was really pouring into me. And that's what, honestly, a lot of this is. Like, you've probably heard it all the time, like, pour into you, self-love, self-concept. Well, sometimes pouring into you and self-love is setting boundaries. It's not taking disrespect from people. It's not allowing certain behaviors from that person to happen again. And sometimes leveling up feels like a lot of effort, and it feels scary, and it feels like okay, what if I set a boundary, or what if I actually stop allowing myself to get triggered? I stop putting myself in situations that's going to trigger me. What if that person goes away? Right? We have all these thoughts, we have all these fears, but as we work on our self-concept, we learn that that's really not the case. The more you honor yourself and the more you respect yourself, you're teaching other people to do that, because they're you pushed out, they're a projection of you. So you're never losing if you work on self-concept. You're never losing if you're bringing the focus back onto you. And a lot of people in these situations, as they're recreating their specific person or they're manifesting a new relationship in, they're not able to just specifically work on that person. They're remembering things that bother them. It's not allowing them to stay calm. Maybe 3D is not, like, social media is not allowing them to stay like calm on their journey. There's so many things, right, that could trigger. So you will never go wrong if you just go back to leveling up on your self-concept. You will never go wrong if you come back to trusting yourself, listening to your intuition, listening to that voice. I remember when I was working on all this, and I would see like SP project back onto me that he's also working on this, right? I remember it was tough, but I had to make a choice, like, do I always have to show up or meet up every single time I have the opportunity, right? Or I have the invite? Because I would notice sometimes I couldn't handle, like, being in a situation where that person is just showing like, oh, we're just friends, right? Because when it first started, SP couldn't commit, right? They just wanted to be super, super close friends. And so many clients of mine go through this too. And sometimes I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't deal with seeing like that version of the person all the time, because it would trigger me. And then I would have to come back home and I would have to like regulate myself and understand that I'm the only one with free will, and that my desires are there for a reason, because they're a promise. Like, the least resistant way was to not put myself in that trigger anymore. The least resistant way was sometimes to set boundaries. And that's totally okay. And I feel like so many people are afraid to do that because they're afraid that maybe they may push away their manifestation. But what's yours, like, when you desire something, that desire is there because it's ready to be experienced. And when your internal world matches what the desire is, like when your internal world matches and becomes the person ready to receive, that desire will find you. If you want to go 10,000 miles away, if you want to avoid it, that desire is going to find you no matter what, because you've been working on the internal story and you've been releasing that resistance, and it has to come and find you. Okay? So trust that. You guys, trust that. Like, if you can take anything from this video, is start trusting the unseen. Start looking back on things that you've manifested, and, like, for example, start really focusing on, hey, let me write a list of the things I've manifested so far, and ask yourself, where were you at internally when it showed up? Were you in a place of worry, like, I have to have it now? Or were you in a place more of like, maybe you were distracted, maybe you were focusing on something else, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I didn't think it would come today, but it did, right? It's more so the second option that I mentioned. And that's because your world, your subconscious does not forget the desire you have, and it doesn't forget what you wanted. It will always show up for you, even if you're not thinking about it in that moment. That's why releasing the resistance and not always putting yourself in triggering situations do help to bring in the thing quicker. Okay? One more thing I wanted to talk about, you guys, is, so self-concept, of course, is one of the most important thing. It's like the kind of like the basis of everything that you're manifesting, because at the end of the day, how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your abilities, or how you feel about what it is that you're manifesting, will always come back and project it back onto you. So that's why it's so important, because at that, you're stuck with yourself. You take your head with you wherever you go. I always say that in all my videos, but you take yourself everywhere. You take this mind everywhere. So you want to find peace within. It's going to just bring in your manifestations and so much faster. Okay. So I was talking to a client today, and when we first started coaching, her goal was to make $20,000 a month in her current job, right? And a lot of people find that it's so hard to do that in their current one. They're always thinking, no, I probably need a new one to manifest that amount, because in my current one, I've never experienced that, and I probably won't, right? So that's also circumstance there. But she was working on manifesting $20,000 a month, and she didn't know how it was going to happen. She was trying to really figure out the how. She was trying to figure out how to kind of take action to manipulate the situation to get it. But you know that that's not the least resistant way. That's actually you're operating from a place of lack when you try to do that. So you don't want to do that, right? It's always an internal game. So we worked together. I gave her some money affirmations. And I think she was doing the money course as well, daily. But I'm happy to say, like, she doesn't even have to do anything anymore about it, because it's become so dominant within her that it's not taking up time out of her day to put in effort. Like, it's just now become a dominant belief in her, which is my goal for everyone. Like, it's literally anyone that coaches with me, like, that's my goal, where you put in the work now, you learn it, you learn the formula, you learn how to embody, you learn how to do the work, and eventually you don't have to do it, because it's such a dominant, it's your second nature. It's just how you think, it's just how you respond, like, it's just who you are, and it's what you're embodying, and it just comes in. So we worked on her limiting beliefs. We worked on some of her like dominant thoughts that were going against her. And she literally told me today that she hasn't been making $20,000. She's been making $25,000. Okay. Every single month. And not by doing more work. Same amount of time is being worked. Like, she's literally putting in the same amount of time as she did when she was not receiving this amount. And she's receiving double, triple, quadruple of what she used to. So please don't worry about the how, you guys. I know I say this so much, but you don't have to worry about this, like the specific way of how it's going to come, right? You just want it to come, right? Does it matter to you if it comes through Joe Schmo, or if it comes through, I don't know, someone else? Like, it doesn't matter who makes the decision. It matters that the decision is made and you're receiving it, right? And no one's getting hurt. You're just working the same hours and you're getting paid literally what you always desired. And that goes for SP too. Like, especially specific people. Like, I know when I was manifesting SP, oh my God, the how, I would worry about the how so much. I would literally kind of like draw, like, I wouldn't actually do this, but it would happen in my head. It was like I was drawing out, like, oh, like connect the lines, like, oh, this has to happen for this to happen, and this to happen, and this to happen, and this to happen. And it's like, you don't even have to worry about that. That's on the universe. That's on subconscious just pushing it out for you. It knows how to push it out for you because it knows all the characters in the movie. It knows how to move each one to get you what you want. Okay? So remember that that's not your job. Your job is to desire. The desire is a promise, but also work on embodying it in between. Work on releasing resistance. Honestly, another thing I want you to take from this video is if you can just work on releasing the resistance, you don't have to beat a dead horse by embodying or affirming or fake it till you make it. You don't have to do any of those things as much as you releasing the resistance. Resistance is what keeps the same cycle going. Reacting is what keeps the same cycle going. For example, what I mentioned in the beginning of this video is for those people, and I used to have that type of story too, like, oh, maybe it's just not going to work out for me. Maybe like I'm going to be the one person in my family that it's going to take a while for me to get into the relationship I want because, you know, like it's just so hard to date, whatever. The more you stay in that thought process and you don't make an effort to change it, guess what is going to keep pushing out? It's going to keep pushing out to match that dominant thought process. And it's no one's fault but the thinkers, literally. So I challenge you this weekend and going forward, even if you can change the story a little bit day to day, do it. Do it and check in on yourself and keep yourself accountable. Come on, we want to see those cycles break. We want results and we want to maintain those results, right? We don't want to stay in the same story and the same situation for another year, for another 6 months, for another 2 years, 3 years. We don't want that. Even if you are you have all the time in the world, right? Why waste it when you have all this power at your fingertips, right? But listen, I get it. Sometimes it's super hard to put in effort on a daily basis to change what you know, because now you've learned that you can actually change it, right? So your whole life you didn't really know you can change it, and then now you're learning that you can. So it's like, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of effort. You're probably used to not doing anything. You're just reacting, right? But why not hit those money goals? Why not hit those relationship goals? Why not break the cycle of thinking, oh, you're the black sheep of the family and it's not going to work out for you, and all these people think it's not going to work out for you. Like, you know what I mean? I love you guys, and I intend this video helped. If you've ever felt any of these things, comment down below. Thank you so much for all your positive emails and comments, you guys. I appreciate you so much. Like, for every time someone literally shares with me that they've, even just watching the free YouTube videos, that you've been applying the knowledge and you've been seeing movement, I love you. Like, literally, that's all I want to know. All I want to see is you're leveling up, you're seeing results, and you're learning your power. You're learning how to use your power and get everything you want. So thank you for that, you guys. Thank you for all the amazing feedback. If I have not shared your success story yet, I will going forward. I'm trying to catch up on them. And yeah, if you guys need to book a session with me or courses, links will be in the description box down below. If you need help with anything, email in at our sessions email and we will help you. Right now, I do have a wait list, but a lot of people are manifesting. Still, they're manifesting a time slot. But yeah, I will see you guys in next Friday's video. Love you guys. Bye.